along with car number 113 up on that front row, on the second row as they come out of turn 4. Phil Radford in the X40. The green flag is out, and we're racing and off into turns 1 and 2. Donnie Skaggs in the X7 right there in the number 4 position right now as they exit turn number 2 and down through the intersection. Right. And it looks like one car turned around in the third turn area of the Speedway, and it looks like Larry Holbert has collected him. And a bumper, looks like a bumper laying on the track up in the third turn area of the Speedway. So expected to maybe go caution here in just a moment or so as the X22, as James Hagan has collected another car at the intersection. Looks like Butch Winters and Sherry Smith in the 09. Tom Powers is also stalled there along with Larry Holbert as they come through the intersection. And as you can see, it's quite a bottleneck, and the number X7 of Donnie Skaggs gets airborne there just at that intersection. There's Sherry Smith in the 09, her machine torn up. She throws it in reverse and pulls away, and it looks like they clear away, but the red flag is out. So the red flag coming out after only one lap of racing action, as again Donnie Skaggs in the number 7 got airborne. Out of turn number 4, the green flag is out, and we're racing. And off into turns 1 and 2. Bob Corbin in car number 74 is the early leader, with George Roberts Sr. running at second, moving into turns 3 and 4. Donnie Skaggs in the X7 also in the thick of things, along with Art Grohl in the number 9. A side-by-side battle for 5th between Doug Smith and Phil Radford as they cross through the intersection and back into turns 1 and 2. Lap number 2 now completed. James Hagan's dragging a bumper, and he's black flagged and should be headed back towards the pit area. Sherry Smith along with Tom Powers stopping at the intersection, and car number X05. And that's Kenny Newcomb as our leaders make their way through the intersection and back into turns 1 and 2. And Art Grohl has spun around up in the 4th turn area of the Speedway. Once again, it looks like the number 22 seems to be dragging part of the undercarriage and is now headed back towards the pit area. Again, they're lined up 4 abreast there at that intersection. Here come the leaders through. Bob Corbin in the 74 continues to lead with Donnie Skaggs, George Roberts Jr., and Doug Smith. Abreast now going into turns 3 and 4. Charlie Hall in the number 69 spins around. Tom Powers has also found his way into the infield, as did Danny Barmore just there at the intersection. Chuck Wolf in the number 136 along with the number 113 are also sliding through the infield grass there in the second turn portion of the Speedway. Out front, it's still Bob Corbin in the X74. George Roberts Sr. in car number 08 runs at second. Donnie Skaggs goes third. At 4th, it's the X50 of Doug Smith. See if you can find X50 on there. The top 4 cars are bumper to bumper out of turn number 4 and down through the intersection. The yellow flag comes out. Yellow flag being displayed after 7 laps of competition. And I believe it's for debris on the track right now. After 7 laps of competition, Bob Corbin is your race leader. Oh, baby, that green. One more lap now and they'll be racing. That front row really came out of line coming out of turn number 4. David Geiger, our flagman, looks the field over and it just didn't look like a good even start, so he decided not to put the green flag out. He'll give them one more lap to get it together. As they roll out of turn 2, Tom Powers in the X36 now rejoins the lineup. And again, it's Bob Corbin in the X74 up on the front row along with George Roberts Sr. Looks like it's going to be a good even start this time around. The field's out of turn 4. David Geiger looks him over, and the green flag is out. George Roberts out front. Bob Corbin drops into second. Donnie Skaggs goes third. Doug Smith up the fourth. John Parrott rounds out the top 5 right now as they move through the intersection back into turns 3 and 4. Whoa, and it's James Hagan and Sherry Smith sliding into third base there. As now lap number 8 is complete. Battle for third, and one of our early race leaders, Bob Corbin, is pulled off. A right front tire is blown out on his machine, and he retires to the safety of the back straightaway. George Roberts, our race leader now, down through the intersection. The number X50 of Doug Smith runs at second. Donnie Skaggs goes third. Up to fourth now comes Larry Holbert in the X14, and Artie Ware rounding out the top 5 in the X44. And John Parrott goes on a spin out of the second turn area of the Speedway. Quentin Cummings locks bumpers with him, and they've got the entire intersection blocked there as they race down through the intersection. We could get a lead change here perhaps, but I tell you what, somebody needs to throw a pail of water on them there. They definitely need to get disconnected because they are sitting in a bad location. Oh, look out. And Donnie Skaggs in the X7 along with Artie Ware in the X44 gets together. Oh, and a chain reaction just before the intersection as 5 cars have gotten together there at the intersection. Again, a chain reaction. And guess what? It brings out the yellow flag. So the yellow flag flies after 10 laps of competition for, first of all, John Parrott. Out of turn number 4, the green flag is back out. George Roberts takes over the number 1 spot going back into turns 1 and 2. Doug Smith shifts down on the inside portion of the Speedway, tries and does take away the number 1 spot as they exit turn 2. They go through the oil drive absorbent laid down on the Speedway there just before the intersection. As again they pass by the action spot, the intersection here on Friday nights. Through the intersection now, it's the X50 of Doug Smith out front with George Roberts Sr. running at second. Larry Holbert goes third. Artie Ware and the number 23 now of Stacy Kelly showing up inside the top 5 as the leaders move down through the intersection and back into turns 3 and 4. Larry Holbert now pulls to the outside of George Roberts. Roberts goes on a spin up into the first turn area of the Speedway with help. No one collects him, but he's trying to get that engine restarted and does so and pulls around. And let's see, he'll get right back in the lineup just as John Parrott in the X. And Roberts goes on a spin there once again in the first turn area of the Speedway. Okay, it's Doug Smith out front in the X50. As Larry Holbert in the X14 challenges him, and looks like Tom Powers was collected at the intersection by John Parrott in the X18. James Hagan in the number 22 also goes on a spin. I tell you what, the fast bunch becomes the wild and woolly bunch out there tonight. Leaders work out of turn 4 and down through the intersection, and it's George Roberts, the leader, and the caution flag comes out. Yellow flag coming out for the number 22 of James Hagan as his machine just after the intersection. The number 22, James Hagan, with the driver's side door facing traffic, and that's a very, very dangerous predicament to be in, and that's the reason the yellow flag came out. James Hagan's machine, the X22, is stalled, and I don't believe he can get the machine going. The driver's side door facing traffic. And that's not the where you want to be sitting, especially in this B feature, because it's been wild and woolly throughout the first 14 laps of this event. We're set to get back. And Butch Winters climbs from his automobile, and it looks like he's all right. Back under green here.